All right, on the phone with me from Seether, the bassist Dale Stewart. Dude, how's it going? How's your 2020 been?
Good, man. Not too bad so far. I mean, there's obvious problems.
All things considered.
in 2020. But, all that considered, I've actually kind of had a good year. I've had a lot of time at home, which was nice. That said, it would be nice to get out there, but the time at home's been great. I've been fishing a lot, spending time with the wife, and been taking it easy. And it's not often you get forced to take a break, so it's
right.
Maybe it's a bit of a silver lining to all the bad stuff.
Yeah, for sure, especially being in a touring band. But you were saying how you're spending your time during this time. You're doing some fishing. What are you out fishing for?
Anything that bites. I live in Savannah, so a buddy of mine's got a boat, so we take the boat out a lot. No real major deep sea stuff. We might go a couple of miles out, look for a reef, or a shipwreck or something. And,
that's gotta be cool.
Do a bit of salt water. Yeah, do a little salt water. Do a lot of inshore. Catching red drum and flounder and sea trout. And, although in Savannah there's a million sharks. Like per bait out, you guarantee to catch a shark. Almost to the point where it kind of becomes a pain because you're trying to catch real fish. But yeah, man, it's fun. It's I've been fishing all my life since I was a kid, and it's what I love to do.
How would you say the difference, because you're from South Africa, what's the difference in like the style and like the things you got to do to get them? And this is a weird interview. I'm just turning it into like an outdoor show real quick. But what would you say the difference between South Africa and Savannah, Georgia is besides continent?
Well, in terms of fishing, that's very different, obviously. Different species. I had to really, do a lot of research and sort of relearn how to fish for, the fish on this side of the Atlantic. It's very different. Very different style of fishing. It's fun to learn new things and do stuff. Funnily enough, though, it's I don't know. South Africa is such almost like a melting pot of cultures, if you will, because everybody kind of came from somewhere else down to South Africa. So there's a lot of sort of European influence and English, Irish, Dutch, German, all that kind of stuff. The culture is this weird, like little, mixture of a bunch of different things, and then obviously the African culture too.
Yeah,
that's kind of a big difference,
For sure. So you
kind of get used to, culturally the differences.
Oh, absolutely. I can only imagine. So we've all had a lot of time on our hands besides fishing. What else have you got? Like you can't go out and tour. That you're saying it's kind of nice. I don't know. If a lot of artists are feeling that same vibe, but what have you been talking to other people at touring bands or anything like that? How they doing out there?
Yeah, I keep up with my friends, and everyone's a little, I don't want to say panicked, but a little concerned. No one can give you an answer. When's it going to be okay to tour, to pack rooms full of people and get on the road? And I mean that's our bread and butter these days.
Right.
If you don't tour, that's your main revenue stream. You don't sell CDs anymore. So you got to get out there and hit the road.
That's selling the CDs.
Yeah, that's
I just got into collecting vinyl, which makes me like my beard grow a little bit more, my hipster wig pop up. But it's so nice to have like physical music, and I don't know how we can bring it back, or if that ship has totally sailed.
I don't think it's totally sailed. I think it'll come back. It's just a matter of when. I'm hoping sooner than later. The time at home's been nice, and I like to try and be optimistic if I can. But it sucks to work on this new album and be very proud of the way it turned out, and getting ready to release it, and then they lock you down and say, no, you can't go play this new music for people.
Yeah.
So that's what sucks. We've got this album, and we want to get out there and play the music and do the whole thing, and we're forced to stay at home. So it sucks, man. But it'll come back. I'm hoping next year.
Okay.
We have one show booked. It's in August of next year. That's kind of the first thing we've booked. So I'm hoping we start filling in, a little bit before that as well.
Sure.
I guess it's anyone's guess, as to when it's going to happen. But I'm going to try and be optimistic and hopeful, and hope we can get out there soon, because I miss it. We actually took a year off before to work on the new album and all of that, and then did the new album, and then now we're forced to take this year off again as well. So by the time I get out there, it'll be almost 3 years of not playing a show. And I haven't done that since I started playing music as a kid. I haven't not been on stage that long or played with my friends, and it sucks. You miss playing. You miss your family. Your brothers. Getting on stage. Hitting the road, like doing the whole thing. It's in your DNA. It's in your blood, and when it's taken away from you, it can be hard at times.
Speaking of that new album, I didn't take Latin in high school, so I'm gonna try my best. Is it Si vis pacem parabellum?
Si vis pacem parabellum.
Hard C. I knew it.
That's how I think it's pronounced. There's probably someone who speaks Latin out there, like, listen to this dude.
Yeah. Well, you're in the band, so I'll take your word for it.
That's how it's pronounced.
So tell me how the recording, I heard it was a little bit different from years past, recording it. How did it all come together?
Yeah, man. We did it kind of in two different sort of stints. Just before Christmas, we got into a studio in Nashville, Blackbird Studio, and knocked out the drum tracks. Mm-hmm. And then we braked for the holidays and all that. And then we went back out in January, sort of late January, to finish everything else off, the guitars, bass, vocals, all that kind of stuff. But we did that at a studio called Dark Horse, and it was just this really cool. It's almost like a little log cabin. It looks like something out of a fairy tale. It's really cool little building out in the middle of nowhere, sort of on the outskirts of Franklin, Tennessee. And every day we'd go out there and we just kind of lock ourselves away in this sort of cabin, and we just we'd record and work on the songs. And they had a little kitchen as well, so I'd get in the kitchen and make the guys breakfast or lunch or whatever the deal would be. But it was just a cool place to be. It was a cool vibe, and we like to vibe the studio out too. So we went and bought like lava lamps and candles, and had all the stuff up, and it was a cool working environment. So it was cool, man. It was a fun album to make for sure.
When you say you were at like a cabin type of thing, whenever I hear that type of thing, like I've looked back at like old documentaries of like how like the Beatles recorded their albums, and like Rush did kind of the same thing where they like took over some like French castle for like a year or so and wrote For All Kings and stuff. Was it kind of like a surreal feeling, just being super isolated from everything in the world and just working on music?
Yeah, it was and it wasn't. We were still very much in the real world. Like at the studio there is accommodation, so you can stay on the premises, and our engineer did.
Oh, okay.
And Matt would. He's crazy. Like he doesn't require sleep. I don't know. I think he might be a robot.
Yeah, he might be. Yeah,
but
I don't know anyone like that.
And we'd come in that morning, he'd work all day, and then we'd leave, and then he'd work all that night, like, editing down stuff and bouncing tracks and everything. And then we'd come in the next morning, and he's had like 2 hours sleep, and then we do it all again, just smoking cigars and drinking coffee. But he stayed on premises, and he loved it. He really had a great time. But we stayed at Sean's house, which wasn't too far away, so we'd go in the studio and we'd kind of lock ourselves in there and, do the whole thing. But then at the end of the day, we were like, all right, boys, let's go home. And then we'd go hang out and, have drinks and, fire up the grill and whatever and just kind of do our thing. So it was kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah, it's a really rock and roll life.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun, and because, Sean produced the album too. So, we didn't have an extra, set of opinions and someone else's, schedule we had to try and fit into and that kind of thing. When we wanted to work, we'd go work, and, when we didn't want to do something, we wouldn't, and it was all down to us. When you work with a producer, you, especially a good producer, like, the last couple albums we did with a producer was Brendan O'Brien, and he's so sought after and busy. He'll be like, okay, guys, I can do like 10 days, what you have to do there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, cool, book it. And then you very much have to almost work around his schedule, because he's like, oh, I've got to fly here and do this. And, Rage Against the Machine wants me to mix them at the Super Bowl. And, just weird stuff. We're like, okay, well, that's pretty damn cool. Go do it,
I think if Rage played at the Super Bowl, that would be freaking amazing.
It would be, yeah.
I'm pretty sure
if that ever happens again too, yeah. I think I'm not really a sports fan. I love MMA and motorsports and stuff like that, but I'm not really into ball sports. But I'm eagerly just watching, keeping my eye on them, because once they start letting people into arenas and stadiums and things, I think that'll be a very good sign for the entertainment industry. If you can go watch a football game, then there's no reason you can't tell people, or you can tell people not to go to an arena to watch a band or a live music venue to go watch a show.
For sure.
So fingers crossed.
Yeah, right. So let's the album, you recorded it, you got it all done. What is your opinion on it? How do you think it came out?
I'm very proud of it. I think it turned out great. It's I know everyone's like, oh, this album's done, but I definitely think it's up there. I think it's strong. I think a lot of people might have only heard the first single, right, Dangerous, on the radio, and I do love that song. Mainly because it is so different to really anything else on the album. So it really stands out. But yeah, there's my favorite song on the album is probably a song called Wasteland, and I'm really hoping we get to put that out as a single down the line. But
I'm pretty sure
song
it will.
To me, that's just a really strong song, and it's just very proud of this album.
Yeah, and I was listening to it on the way into the studio today, and there's a lot of really popular bands right now that on the radio, and they're like, well, I need to make sure that this song can play on the radio, so I can't say the F word, or I can't swear, or anything like that. The first song, Dead and Done, that is freaking awesome. Like, I just think it's so rock and roll to like keep that attitude of like, we don't really care like about that. We just want to play a song that rocks.
Yeah, man, it's you kind of have to play the game a little bit, I guess. When you're coming up, when we were a baby band, and the label says, hey, we need a radio friendly unit shifter, or did Nirvana write a song about that?
Yeah.
So you're like, yes sir, no sir, and then the producer comes in, and then he kind of dulls it down a little bit, and so they always, or at least in our experience, they're always trying to kind of take the edge off the band a little bit.
Yeah. And
I guess to an extent they kind of succeed, but now that our label, I think we've proved ourselves, and our new label says, hey, you guys make an album and just play it for us when you're done, kind of thing. They very much just let us do our thing, and then with Sean's producing now, we can do exactly what we want to do. So it's almost like going back to garage days, when you write a song in the garage and you record it to a cassette tape, and there were no rules. Like, if you wanted to scream, you screamed. If you wanted to curse, you cursed. You just did what you wanted to do, and what felt right at the time. And so we're back to doing that now, and it's really cool. It's really fun. It's when you have to always try and think about, how's this going to sell? Is radio going to want to play it? This and that. It kind of sucks the soul out of it a little bit, out of the process, I think. Whereas if you like, hey, let's make the songs we'd like to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
and that's all that really matters, and that's when it becomes fun again, and the whole creative process is interesting and cool.
Absolutely, and as a absolute music lover, even though I'm on the radio, I really love when bands are just like, you know what, this is how we want to sound, this is what we're going to do, so we're just going to do it. I love that attitude.
Oh, yeah, man.
I just want to say, Dale Stewart from Seether, thank you for stopping by, and I hope that we do see you sooner rather than later. Hopefully, maybe we can book a show before August and around here and get you guys jumping around on stage.
We'd love to, man. We're so ready to go. Like, if there was legally a way to do it, like, we'd be out right now. So we rest assured, as soon as we get the go ahead, we're gonna be hitting the road pretty hard. So yeah, we look forward to it.
Right on, man. Well, thanks for stopping by. We look forward to seeing you. Have a great day.
Thanks, man. You too.